What is up, gamers? How are you doing on this beautiful day, or afternoon, I guess? Today, I want to touch on an experience that is about me. And no, it's not a Roblox experience. It's an experience that I've had going through my life. And it's not a bad thing. So, I haven't really touched on this in a video, but for those of you who don't know, I have ADHD. And for those of you who don't know what ADHD stands for, it stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. And I want to kind of go through the pros and cons, well, not really pros and cons, but pros and some other things about having, about someone having ADHD like me. Now, what is it like being a YouTuber with ADHD, I hear you ask? Really, not a whole lot different from my school life. It's not all that different. I'm still me, and I'm still a dude. And a lot of people who don't know this, and you guys don't really know this. I don't really touch on this stuff on my channel, not because I want to keep it secret or anything from you guys. It's because I don't really touch on this stuff a lot. Not because I don't want to keep it a secret from you guys. I don't really talk about disabilities and whatnot. I don't really talk about disabilities on my channel and whatnot. I don't really talk about disabilities on my channel. And I don't really talk about disabilities on my channel. And I don't really talk about disabilities on my channel, and that's because I'm not a dude. And that's because I'm not a mean person. Now, what's my school life like with ADHD? What's my morning? What's my regular life without recording a video on ADHD? Well, every day when I get up, whenever I have breakfast, I have to take medications. And whenever I get up for breakfast, I always have to take medication to help me focus. And ADHD, well, every day, whenever I get up for school, I have to have medications to keep me focused. And one of the symptoms with ADHD is you don't really concentrate well. And one of the symptoms with ADHD is that you don't really concentrate well, you don't really focus well. So every morning, this includes weekends as well, I have to take medications. And And when I get to school, I have to go to a special department to help me since I have ADHD. I have to go to a special department. Now, I want to kind of talk about a mini story in my freshman year. I want to kind of talk about with a mini story with my freshman year, in my freshman year of high school with ADHD. Now, since ADHD doesn't really help you focus well, I've been having a lot of troubles in my freshman year of high school. I've been having a lot of troubles in my high school freshman year. And with that, my parents had to put me into a private school so I could learn better. I didn't really like it all that much. I didn't really like the change of community all that much. I always said to my parents, I don't feel like going to this place. I feel like going to Desert Vista. I don't like this place. I don't like it here. I don't say them in like a military tone, like, your commander does not like this place, blah, 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 you're under curfew. No, that's ridiculous. No, that's ridiculous. I don't speak to them like that at all. I don't speak to them like that at all. That's ridiculous. I never spoken to them when I was at my private school. I never spoke to them like that when I was transferred into a private school. Eventually, I got back into my public school. And I felt like I belonged there. Now, why did I feel like I belonged more in my regular public school? Well, it's because I felt disconnected from my friends. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have kind of felt the same way. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have felt the same way when you transfer schools. You feel disconnected from your friends, from your childhood friends, and whatnot. You feel disconnected from your friends when you move away from school that you love, near and dear to your heart. You feel disconnected from your friends when you're away from school that's near and dear to your heart, that your friends are at, that you've known for so long. Now, something I want to clear up is the pro. Some people might think having ADHD doesn't make them normal. Do not think of that. Don't think that it does. Do not think that it doesn't make you normal. You're still you. But you have ADHD. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. You're welcomed into our ADHD community, arms wide open. Try to think of ADHD being a positive thing. Try to think of having ADHD being a positive thing. Like, try to think of having ADHD as a positive thing. Try to think of having ADHD as a positive thing. Yeah, sure, some people might pick on you and call you a name that I don't really like. The R name that I don't really like. It's pretty cruel. But try to think of the positive things of having ADHD. I'm pretty creative. I don't know if you can see back there, but I'm building a little Lego warehouse back there. I'm building a little Lego warehouse back there. I'm building some stuff. And one of the things with ADHD, you're very creative. And one of the things with ADHD, you're creative in your own way. Don't think of having ADHD as a bad thing. Think of it as a good thing, as a blessing. Think of having ADHD as a blessing. Think of ADHD as a blessing. Don't think of it as a bad thing. Think of it as a good thing. Think of it as having your own, like, superpower. Think of having ADHD as your own superpower. Think of it as that. Think of it as that. Don't think of it as a negative thing. I never thought of it as a negative thing when I discovered I had it. Don't think of having ADHD as a negative thing. Think of it as a good thing. Think of having ADHD as a good thing. Think of having ADHD as a positive way, as a good way. Yeah, sure, you might not really pay attention in school and whatnot, but think of that as a way to think of that as a better way to get yourself into college or university or getting a job. Don't think of ADHD as a bad thing. Think of it as a good thing. Think of having ADHD as a good thing. Think of having ADHD as a good thing. It's not a bad thing. You're still you, but you just have ADHD. You're still a person. You're not what people might think. You're not this person who other people think you're like mentally insane. Think of having ADHD as a good thing. I don't think of it as a bad thing. I think of it as a blessing. I think of having ADHD as a blessing. I don't think of having ADHD as a bad thing. I think of it as a good thing. I think of having ADHD as a good thing. I think of having ADHD as a good thing. I think that having ADHD lets you be more creative, more ideaful, more positive, a better outlook. a better outlook. Yeah, sure, some people might make fun of you and call you names, but ignore them. They're the people who pick on you and say you're an R word. They have their own problems to deal with. Ignore them. Ignore them. Think of having some AD think of having ADHD as confidence. Think of it as confidence. Think of having ADHD is have this thought in your head that ADHD is confidence. Have you thought in your head that ADHD is confidential? Is confidence. It's think about having okay. My mouth is dry. My mouth is dry. Alright. Think of having ADHD as your own little, like, superpower. Think of ADHD, think of ADHD being your own little, like, superpower. Think of it as being your confidence. Think of it as being your, think of it saying, you can do this. You're a strong person. Think about having ADHD in a positive way. It's not a bad thing. You're still you if you have ADHD. You're different from other people in a good way. You don't have to be embarrassed if you have ADHD. You don't have to be embarrassed if you have ADHD. Think of it as a good thing. Think of having a disability where you struggle as, think of having, I want you to pause this video and think of what people think of me with, I want you to pause this video and think of what people think of me when I have ADHD. I want you to pause it. I want you to pause the video and think of what people think of me when I have ADHD. It's a good thing. Having ADHD is a good thing. It helps you grow as a person. It helps you grow as a person. It helps you guide yourself to success. It helps you grow confidence in your education. It helps you grow your education. Don't think of having ADHD as a bad thing. Think of it as a blessing. Think of it as a blessing. Anyways, gamers, I'm gonna sign off for the day. Keep on gaming, gamers, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.